Welcome to the May 2021 Gaming PC Builds of the Month, brought to you by NoobComputerBuild.com. My name is Corey. Back into another month. If you've been checking in monthly, welcome back. Things haven't changed too much. If you're new here, welcome to building your first PC or second PC or third PC. But anyways, welcome here. We have the builds this month again, the $1,500, $1,000, $800, and $500 gaming PC build. If you've been building in the last few months or half a year, basically, you'll know it's hard to get your hands on graphics cards. Things haven't changed too much. However, you can get a graphics card. You just have to be very patient. So keep an eye out for that. In other updates, or general factors in terms of the market right now, is that I've noticed that hardware prices are trending a little bit slightly upwards with regards to other hardware. This includes SSDs, memory, and some PSU power supply brands. So do keep an eye out for that. With any of these recommendations, if any of the storage devices or memory go up in price, do look at alternatives. Otherwise, leave a comment. I'm more than willing to help, or visit the site at noobcomputerbuild.com and leave a comment there, and I can help you out if you're looking for alternatives. But otherwise, these builds are put together with the best hardware per dollar spent for performance in mind, but keeping in mind that each gaming PC builder is a unique builder, and that you want, say, if you want a different case, you can totally do that because your build's your build, but you might have to spend a little bit more to kind of customize it the way you want it exactly. All right, let's jump into it. One thing I want to note, the 11, I want to note that, here we go. The Intel Core i5-11400 was released not too long ago, and this is a new contender for basically the AMD Ryzen 3600 or 3600X, which you'll notice is a recommendation in a couple of the lower budget builds that I'm going to recommend here soon. And the 3600 right now is going for just over $200 or around $200, but the supplies have been low, so that's been jacking that price up. That CPU is still recommended, and it's recommended for May. However, going into next month, this might be a new contender based on their supplies. You can see it'll be in stock by May 30th, 2021, but it is a contender for the Ryzen 3600. I haven't recommended Intel for a long time in these builds, so this is, to me, it is something big, and it is a contender. So you can see here we have the Ryzen 5 3600X and 3600 right here. This is, by the way, the Tom's Hardware's average FPS Geomean, sorry, in the Ryzen, in the Intel 11400 benchmark article that they did. And so this is an average of all of the tests they did. So we have the 3600, 3600X down here at an average of 126 FPS and 125 FPS respectively. But then you can look up here, the 11400 with an AIO, so a different cooler, mind you, does perform better. And even with the stock cooler, performs better with the Intel stock cooler. And for a cheaper price, so at $182 without needing to spend money on a cooler, you still get better performance. But if you want to spend a little bit more with an AIO or something like that, you can squeeze out more performance because the Intel coolers generally suck anyhow. Anyways, let's get back into the builds. Let's start with the $1,500 build of the month. This one is powered by the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X CPU. This CPU right now comes in at $369.99. It's gone down in price because supplies have gone up, so you'll most likely be able to get your hands on one this month on this newer CPU. If it's not in stock, you can still consider the Ryzen 7 3700X at $308.99. That's gone down too, which would still be a good contender, but the 5600X will perform better and is a better choice. So I would go with that, assuming that they're in stock. This comes with we're going to be using the Ray Stealth cooler as the stock cooler for this. The motherboard we have is the Asus AM4 TUF Gaming X570 Plus motherboard at $177.99 at the moment. Graphics card. This is where I'm going to caveat. All of these cards that I include here are theoretically the prices that they should be based on MSRPs and what they should be going at. Do not spend more than you have to, especially on older hardware. This is newer hardware, but some of the builds have older hardware. Do not spend more than you have to. Just be patient, Grasshopper. Be patient. So graphics card we have here is the Zotac Gaming GeForce RTX 3070. Should be around $530, give or take. If that's not in stock, you could consider something like an RTX 2070 Super graphics card. If they're in stock, don't spend over what you have to, just be patient. The memory we have here is the Crucial Ballistix 3600 MHz kit, a 16 gigabyte kit at $93.99. Storage we have here is a Crucial P1 1TB NVMe SSD at $104.99. Power supply EVGA. This is the EVGA 750 watt GA750 or 220 GA750 at $119.99. And then the case we have this month is the ever popular Fantex Eclipse P400A, which is a fantastic case with great airflow and a fairly user-friendly design for new builders. So this one comes at $89.99 for a total of $1,514 for May 2021. The next build we have in line here is the $1,000 gaming PC build. Keeping in mind that this build is for those that want to game at extreme settings at 1080p resolutions or into higher settings at 2K resolutions without an issue. You should be able to play most games at 2K resolutions anyhow. CPU we have here, this is what I was talking about earlier. This one is powered by the AMD Ryzen 5 3600 CPU at $199.99. Sometimes you'll find it a little bit more expensive based on supply levels lately. Great CPU. Again, it's been out for 2 years, so you could keep an eye out for this Intel 11400 if that's of interest to you. Otherwise, it's a great CPU. Assuming that you can get it. And it's in stock right now, so you should be able to get it. Cooler included is the Ray Stealth cooler, motherboard ASRock B550, Phantom Gaming 4 motherboard at $113.99. Graphics card MSI Gaming GeForce RTX 3060 Ti, 8GB card at theoretically $400. And then if you wanted to consider other graphics cards, and lesser comparable older gen one could be the RX 5700 XT. Or you can go with other cards that you see in this article as well, but those are the two I'd recommend for this build. So memory we have is the Crucial Ballistix 3600 16GB kit, storage 500GB Crucial P1 NVMe SSD at $78.92, power supply EVGA 220. This is the B5 EVGA B5 650 watt power supply, fully modular, $72.45. Case we have is the Fantex Eclipse P360A, a newer Fantex case at $69.99, coming in at $1,028 now at the beginning of May. The second last build we have here is the $800 gaming PC build of the month. Again, we have the AMD Ryzen 5 3600, $199.99, included Ray Stealth cooler. Motherboard we have is this Micro ATX, so a smaller form factor ASRock B550M HDV at $69.95. Graphics card we have here is the MSI Gaming Radeon RX 5600 XT at $279.99. Theoretically, quote unquote, other cards could be the GTX 1660 Super or GTX 1660 or RX 5500 XT. Those are lesser comparable cards but might be in stock and could be of consideration as well. Memory we have here is the Crucial Ballistix 3600 16GB kit again at $83.99. Crucial P1 500GB NVMe SSD at $78.92. Power supply Thermaltake Smart 600 watt power supply at $49.99. And the case we have here, this one's a unique one. It's a kind of a budget-friendly case, but it comes in black or white, and I quite like this one. It's the Dark Flash Micro ATX, so to suit the form factor of this build, Micro ATX case at $54.99. So a very, very good price. And very good case for the price, in my opinion, coming out to a total of $827 right now. The last build, but not least build, it is the least, but the last build here is the $500 gaming PC build. This is that entry-level build. If you just want to get into gaming PC building and just get into games, doesn't matter. You'll be able to play any game out, just depends on the settings, basically. So you have to have scaled back settings. This build is kind of the most accessible build right now of the month. That's because you don't need a graphics card. You do not need a graphics card. That's because right now I'm recommending the AMD Ryzen 5 3400G CPU here, which has integrated Radeon RX graphics. So you don't need a graphics card to get up and running. This could be an option if you don't want to go hunting for a graphics card and not find one, but at least game now, and then in the future you can always add one in, assuming that you can get one, and go about it that way. This is at $300. Alternatively, a better CPU could be the Ryzen 3 3300X 4-core CPU, but you will need a graphics card, but it is significantly cheaper at $130. But this is a good entry-level CPU if you don't have a graphics card. So it comes with the AMD Ray Stealth cooler. Motherboard we have here is the Asus Prime B450M Micro ATX motherboard, $77.99. Graphics card, don't need one if you're using the first CPU mentioned there, the integrated Radeon RX. Otherwise, I would recommend something like an EVGA GeForce GTX 1650 at say $169.99. Don't overpay for this card. Not at all. Please don't. Other cards could be the GTX 1050 Ti or RX 560. Memory we have here is an 8GB kit of Patriot Viper 4 Blackout Series, 2 4GB sticks, $52.99. SSD we have here is a SATA PNY CS900 240GB SSD, $34.99. Power supply again is Thermaltake Smart 500 at $49.99. And then the case we have here is a fairly good Micro ATX case for the price. The Cougar MG130G Micro ATX gaming case, and it comes in at $41.99. I just want to mention for a budget micro ATX case, it has kind of the transparent side panel, which is pretty cool. In my opinion, not a lot of budget cases do. So anyways, that does it. And this comes out to a total of $558 at the moment. So yeah, this does it for all of the PC builds this month. Like I said, if you want to explore hardware alternatives, leave a comment down below. Go to the site noobcomputerbuild.com. I include kind of performance upgrades and stuff there if you have more to spend or you want to upgrade in the future and things like that. But thank you for tuning in, and best of luck building your gaming PC this May 2021.